It looks like the silver market is officially broken. No, really broken. As of right now, there's a gap in the early morning activity signaling something is wrong. Could it be that India is driving demand? According to this latest report, it looks like it's causing a panic in London. And that, my friends, is something worth looking at. All right, so want to take a minute, share some thoughts in reference to just some headlines and some chart activity. Looks like gold and silver still continuing to put pressure on the futures markets. And there's an article about India perhaps racing to get as much physical silver as they can, and it's causing a panic in London. So once again, early morning activity shows unbelievable gap. Now, I'm not quite sure what this gap is all about, but then again, once you see stuff like this, it's definitely worth talking about or trying to get to the bottom of, just because as of right now, I looked at the market from different time sectors and it's up and down, but as of early morning, it looks like it got up above 52, 57, and as of right now, down 10 cents. But once again, we're above 50. So clearly 50 has become the perceived floor for this current price movement we're experiencing when it comes to silver in particular. But then if you just look out, that same gap is present in the silver sector. So clearly something happened within the last couple of hours. And I'm sure throughout the day, we're going to find out more about it. But as always, for those who are plugged in, I want to encourage you, if you have not, definitely drop a comment, share your thoughts on this type of commentary. And then also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe so you never miss when I put out a video, just shining more light as to what's happening. Because literally, gold and silver to me exposes the end game that I've been talking about for quite some time now. And it's all about getting physical while you still can, because the paper is the problem. And so let's just jump right into this headline as of now and give you what's going on. So here we have Out Times of India. It says silver market crisis 2025, panic in London, how the market broke. Is demand in India the cause? And so give you some idea here. It says the global gold and silver market is facing its most severe crisis in decades. And for once, the epicenter of the turmoil isn't just Wall Street or London, it's India to blame. It says as a country celebrated Diwali, millions of people flocked to buy silver, turning a seasonal ritual into a market buying frenzy. It says for Vipin Raina, head of the trading MMTC PAMP India, he says the scale of demand was unprecedented. It says Raina had been preparing for months for a surge in silver prices by Indian customers ahead of Diwali. It says the festival honoring the goddess of wealth. But when it came, it blew everything away. His company, India's largest precious metals refinery, ran out of silver stock for the first time in its history. And so here, this particular dealer here was anticipating a surge, but not the type of surge he ended up getting, to the point where it emptied his shelves. And so literally he sold everything he had, to where that to me is a good indication as to the extra demand. And the question is, why the extra demand? It's clear as day. The Indian rupee is literally underperforming in reference to what gold and silver is doing, denominated in fiat currencies. And so clearly everybody recognized the signs of the times. Right now, because of uncertainty in the markets, geopolitical events, every government is having issues keeping the narrative going of the central banking model being, I guess, stable enough and being viable for the people. So everyone is forced to go get something tangible. And hence the idea of silver still at this current moment at $50 being extremely undervalued. And so this is what it looks like in the USD. And so let's take a glimpse at Indian rupee to see what the actual price is over in that region. And so let me find India, and then we will. So literally, this is what's happening in India right now when it comes to an ounce of silver. And so move myself out the way here. So you can see the Indian rupee over the last year was down beginning of the year, say at 2,400 rupees at January of this year. And as of right now, it's over 4,600 rupees. So literally that type of movement there lets you know that something is happening, and people want out of rupees, the fiat version, and into the silver representation of a rupee. And so with gold, it was down at 220,000 rupees in November of last year. Over the last year, it has gone up to 378,000 rupees. So once again, the place to be is clearly physical. And so let's just jump back into this article here, shine some more light on it, and just highlighting this in-game narrative in real time, because that's what it's all about, giving people a different perspective from where to counter the mainstream narrative. And so it's here. This is his quote. It says, most people who are dealing silver and silver coins, they're literally out of stock because silver is not there. Raina said, who is head of the trading MMT, whatever, says this kind of crazy market where people are buying at these levels, I have not seen it in my 27-year career. Here's a little video here where they're just showing activity, and it looks like just trading in general. You got the gold. Jewel says jewelers see high turnout despite zooming gold prices. And so yeah, this is what's happening in the midst of a panic. It says, is India leading the frenzy is a question. It says here, while Diwali demand is usually gold heavy, this new year saw silver take the spotlight. Social media and market hype fueled the shift, according to Bloomberg report. Investor, banker, and content creator with nearly 3 million followers promoted silver as the next big buy after gold's historic rally. So you got social media influencers. It's never been like this before. The demand this time for silver has been humongous. Overseas bullion, MD Overseas Bullion says premiums for silver in India surge above $5 an ounce, far exceeding the usual few cents above international prices. Dealers in Mumbai reported bidding wars with buyers prioritizing availability over cost. So literally, it was a matter of getting physical regardless of the cost. And so it's this type of activity here that's taking place on the other side of the world that the mainstream media here will not talk about, to where the average Joe and Jane have no clue as to what's going on, has no clue in reference to the surge in actual physical possession. The price is not a key factor for a lot of these individuals here, because at the end of the day, the price can only go up because the things they're denominated in will only go down as far as relative purchasing power. And so possession over price any day. So right now with $52 silver, that's still cheap, given the fact that majority of the world has no clue as to how important silver and gold is from a monetary standpoint, not to mention all the industrial uses and all that other stuff that is always a factor. And then once silver at 52-ish continues to climb, then you're going to have industrial demand, where you're going to have all the industries that need it, tech, automotive, and medical and everything else, that will be forced to go out and also buy the physical. And what do you think they're going to buy? They're going to buy what they need, and they're going to go into the future for future supplies. And then you're going to have companies being forced to go out and find physical silver to have in their supply for future usage. Therefore, it's going to be more of a demand. Therefore, there's a price for every ounce. It's just, what is that price? And more importantly, what is that price that you would be willing to give back an ounce to the market at? And that's going to be something we all find out in the days ahead. But last couple notes here. It says here, London in panic. It says the buying spree hit London, the global hub for silver trading. Said traders described a market, quote, all but broken, as banks struggled to quote prices amid repeated client calls and thin liquidity. Robin Covenbach, CEO of Harger Harris, said there is more or less little to no liquidity actually available in terms of leases in London. We have basically stopped all silver intake that is not committed contractually. So the spike in silver prices reached $54 an ounce before tumbling 6.7%, reflecting extreme stress across the market. Analysts compared it to historical crisis, including the Hunts brother attempt to corner the market in 1980, underscoring the severity of the situation. Literally, the next part is called the perfect storm, basically hinting at since 2021, demand has outstripped supply by 670 million ounces, while London's total inventory stood at around 1.1 billion ounces at the start of 2021. It says market stress intensified this year as traders rushed to front run the potential U.S. tariffs announced by President Donald Trump, moving over 200 million ounces of silver into New York to warehouses. And so adding more pressure. At the end of the day, there's greater demand than there is supply. Therefore, the price has to go up, and we're going to find out what that price is as the smoke starts to, decimate, and the ashes from this collapse begin to settle. We're going to see what price will be, and definitely it's going to be much greater than $50. You can bet that, my friend. So once again, just taking a minute, sharing my 2 cents as to what's happening, and just basically keeping an eye on price activity, because once again, we're going to see more and more distractions and diversion tactics to keep people's attention away from silver. And as I'm ending this video here, it looks like silver and gold is turning over, especially as we enter into early morning with the Comex decided to dump futures, but then again, it's going to come right over, and then within the next hour, it's going to go right back up. So just more indication as to what's happening. But as always, for those who are new to the game, I want to encourage you, don't wait to the last minute. This is the time to get physical. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, to get physical is to actually be in the business for yourself. And so what way to do that? I would encourage you, if you have not, the Quick Silver Wealth Accelerator program allow people to dollar cost average in 1 ounce at a time. So on the screen here, you see people who literally are part of the community where they're just getting 1 ounce at a time, adding it to their stack. And the best way to do it is to set it up where it's automated, comes to you however you want it. You can go 1 ounce, 4 ounces, 10 ounces, sent to you directly. And then from that, you get your own distribution network where you can then take your information, share with other people so they can also get their silver game up. So if you're interested in doing that, I would encourage you to consider joining the Silver Team. So as you can see here, go to mysilverteam.com, links in the description. Join me. We'll love to work with you. Feel free to ask questions. Once you sign up, I'll get your information, reach out to you, help you get set up so you can start getting involved directly in the silver industry, because it's better to work for yourself in a sense rather than going out buying it from these other bullion dealers online where you don't get no proceeds, you get no kickback, you get no commission for you buying from yourself and then helping others. And so this is a way to actually get involved in the silver business and help other people along the way. So once again, if you want to find out more, links in the description, all the other resources as well. Be blessed, be safe. Shalom.